Hi, good morning. My name is Gregg Tivnan. I'm the Assistant Town Manager, and I'm filling in for Libby Gibson, the Town Manager, who is on vacation this week. Yes, there are people who actually leave Nantucket to go on vacation in the summer instead of coming here, although you never know it because the island, it seems like it's packed.
Well, I'm getting ready to leave too, Greg.
That's right. I mean,
about time.
all smart people, I guess, leave the island at this time of year. But so I'm filling in for this week in town government. Just give an update on what happened at the Board of Selectmen meeting last evening, kind of the bits and pieces. Just come house cleaning stuff is that we are approaching Labor Day, so town offices will be closed on Labor Day, Monday, September 4th. We have a memo from the airport manager, Tom Rafter, that the airport has a new parking system. Before we had the gated system where you'd go in and you get a token and your first 3 hours was free and then you'd have to pay after that with the token. Well, now there's no gate and it's more of an advanced system. The first 3 hours are still free. But if you're going to be there for longer than 3 hours, you'd go to a kiosk and punch in your stall number. You have to know where you parked. They also have an app. It's very advanced now, so you could actually download the application on your smartphone and manage your parking that way. The rates have changed a little bit, so we would recommend that everybody goes to the airport website, especially if you're planning to leave for Labor Day weekend and in anticipation of how you're going to pay for your parking.
Did you understand it?
I did. I've actually already used it.
Okay, I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
So let's say you don't realize that you've gone over your 3 hours.
Okay.
What happens then if you're not, I mean, obviously you're not at the parking lot, you're somewhere else.
Right.
Can you go on the app and
Yes.
say, okay, that's how you do it?
That's how you do it. So it's all predicated that you actually download the app. So what Gino's asking is if you happen to go off island and you miss your ferry, or the ferry doesn't run, and suddenly you're past your 3 hours, or you paid for 6 hours, 3 hours free and you paid for 3 hours, but you're not going to make it back in time. If you've downloaded the application and the instructions are right there on a menu right at the airport, you can pay for more time remotely right from your application. If you didn't download that app, then it's just like before. If you didn't pay for parking, you probably get ticketed or you could get charged on the way out.
Okay, that's my next question.
Yeah.
How do they know how long you've been there?
Tom was trying to explain that yesterday. It's an automated system. They called it an electronic chalking. Like you see the community service officers and the police officers around town, they chalk your tires. He said there's an electronic chalking system that happens. He said it takes a picture of your license plate in the stall.
When you drive in?
Apparently, or it must be a
at the
vehicle.
stall.
It must be a vehicle that drives around. And honestly, I don't know
I'm gonna
that.
find that out.
Yeah, I found it interesting, but he called it electronic chalking. So it knows, it's going to know that you were there and you might be there for 6 hours, but you didn't pay for anything. So hopefully it works. We wish the airport the best with it. I know they had problems with their gated system before, so just keep it ahead.
It can only be better.
Everybody will be traveling now. It's Labor Day and then going off island in the fall for colleges and whatever. So just keep it in mind. Also, the fire station is having an open house, a kids fair, if you will, next Wednesday, August 30th from 11 until 2 o'clock p.m., 11 in the morning, 2 o'clock p.m. It's sponsored by the fire station and the fire association, Firemen's Association. There'll be burgers and dogs and kids games and activities and just an open house for the locals and everybody who's here just to wind down the summer and keep everybody safe. There'll be safety tips and just come in and greet your public safety officials. And the Steamship Authority sent us a memo just yesterday that they are doing renewal licenses for services for the High Line, Freedom Ferry, and Sea Streak. And they're looking for public input for any of those services before they renew their licenses. Public comment can be made in writing to the steamship. It's on the steamship's website.
So if we don't want them renewed, we can write to them
Or
and say, forget it. We don't want them.
I guess, yeah. Or you could make some comments about the boats or the
Okay.
service or the
Yeah.
times.
Now's
or
the time to view your, voice your opinion.
And there will be a public hearing for Nantucketers at the Whaling Museum, the Discovery Room, on the 26th of September. So, and I believe that's at 9:30 in the morning. But they're looking for public comment no later than Monday, September 11th, if you want to put your comments in writing. So again, go to the Steamship website and you can check out that information. The rest of the meeting was easy.
Oh, come on.
Lot
We gotta
of.
go through a little of it.
I'm only kidding.
Okay, good.
As usual, there was a lot of
Marijuana.
marijuana.
You wanna go into that?
I shouldn't say there was not a lot of marijuana. There was a lot of planning and a
Yeah.
lot of yard sale stuff,
what
as there
happened
always
on that?
is. So the marijuana issue, that's part of the warrant. So let me back up. The Board of Selectmen adopted the warrant for the November 6th special town meeting. So be there if your local plan to go to the special town meeting. There are now 25 articles on the warrant after the adoption yesterday. And the more contentious ones, or the ones that are like more difficult to understand, are the 3 articles regarding marijuana. And just in a nutshell, layman terms, the state had a ballot question last year regarding legalizing recreational marijuana. Nantucketers voted overwhelmingly for it. As a matter of fact, 63% of Nantucketers voted in favor of it. So that's pretty high. So the recreational marijuana becomes effective as of April 1st of 2018. However, the state has not provided all of its guidelines, and the guidelines meaning what the dispensaries look like, what kind of licenses you can give out, what kind of retail shops you can have. Can you limit edibles? Can you carve out your own little niche for your community? The only thing that really can happen right now is a zoning bylaws and so forth, which Nantucket has already done.
Do we know how much a person can personally grow?
And we
Yeah.
don't know any of this.
Okay.
And that's, so the state has put together, they're a little behind the game, and they put together a committee called the Cannabis Control Committee, the CCC. They just convened. They're just starting now. And they're supposed to give guidelines regarding all of this to all the municipalities. And their guidelines are supposed to come out on March 15th. Let's face it, it's government, so that means late April. And that passes April 1st deadline. And we have town meeting in April. We're early. We're an early town meeting because of our economy, our seasonal economy. We get ready for the season, so we don't want to have town meeting in May or June. So we miss it. And so the state has given the opportunity for municipalities to voluntarily, through the town meeting process, provide a moratorium on the implementation of recreational marijuana up until December 31st, 2018. So that's a little over a year from now. It's not banning it, it's not preventing it, it's just allowing municipalities to receive the guidance from the Commonwealth and then create their own zoning and bylaws and whatever you may need to do it correctly. And added to that, as usual, Nantucket and the Vineyard were never really considered when the laws are being constructed. And so we have a problem with the federal waters that surround us. And the way the law is written, you cannot transport any marijuana paraphernalia over federal waters. And so we're required to have everything in the legislation, such as dispensaries and a facility to test the marijuana, retail shops, and get the material here to start it, but we're not allowed to go over federal waters or in the air to do it. So we have special legislation up at the State House right now for Nantucket and Dukes counties, and hopefully we'll hear about that in March also. So there's a lot up in the air.
Quick question about the 2018 December idea. That has to be voted on?
That's
during
correct.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
that people need to understand. So in September, or when are we having the special town meeting?
It's November 6th.
November 6th. Are we going to make a decision on whether we
Yep.
want to extend it to?
That's correct.
Okay.
So that is
That's part of it.
warrant article
Got it.
number 1
All right.
is agreeing to the state's provision of a moratorium to change the effective date of recreational marijuana from April 1st, 2018 to no later than December 31st, 2018. And that just will give municipalities time to get this done. Now, if you're other municipalities or even a city, they may not have to wait that long because they'll have a town meeting after the clarifications and the guidelines come out. We'll have a town meeting before then. So we're just squeezed. And so we're recommending, we put it on the warrant article. Now, if it doesn't pass at town meeting, everything becomes effective April 1st. There's no loss. The town voted for the approval of recreational marijuana, so that's what's going to happen. we're just trying to do it correctly. But so either way, it's going to happen. We would just want to do it, so we're doing it right. I mean, for example, the original legislation allowed for a municipality to accept a 2% fee on the sale of recreational marijuana to go back into the community. Since then, they've already changed it to 3%. So on the special town meeting warrant, we were adding that additional 1% on. So things are fluid and they're changing. We just want to make sure we're capturing it all correctly at the same time. Right. So the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Office, Town Council, they've actually put a lot of work into this to try to understand it. And the state is just a little behind, and hopefully they'll play catch up and we'll do it correctly. Okay. Also on the warrant, we had a discussion about the Old South Road corridor. That means basically Old South Road from the Milestone Rotary all the way out past the airport. And people have noticed it's been tight traffic there. And with developments going on the Richmond property down across from North Shop, we just anticipate that there's going to be a lot more traffic. And the development is far beyond our planning for Old South. The development has come along, but what our plans for Old South to mitigate traffic is lagging. So there was discussion about that. We actually removed an article to allocate money to get things going. We're going to put that on the annual town meeting. So we had a big discussion about.
Why wouldn't we put it on the special one to get things going faster, if that's the case?
We just actually don't have any data. We don't have traffic study. We don't have the money.
Shouldn't we have that though, Greg? Maybe?
Planning has some.
We knew that this was coming years ago.
Well, planning has what they assumed was going to be happening without something like the Richmond property. So they have study that includes a rotary at Fairgrounds in Old South, that includes perhaps a rotary at Old South and Nobody Farm. But they didn't anticipate this coming in. That happened in between. So this is going to generate, and not only that, it's not just the residential community. There's going to be a business district there that's going to be more developed, and that's going to bring in more traffic. So that's happening above and beyond the plan.
Is there a possibility that road will get widened?
Oh, I think there'll be a big possibility. I mean, I'm not privy to any of these studies. I'm not on it, but I can't imagine. What I've heard many times is a turning lane, so that means a middle lane to take left turns.
Yes.
Just listening to that means you have to widen the road somehow.
Sure.
And
turning lanes to the right sometimes, just so that people can get out.
Get out. Yeah. So if you or if you're going to be going into a property like at the airport road, it's going to be a turning lane going right.
Right.
So yes, we've heard that. Oh, air conditioner kicked on because it's pretty warm in here. There you go. Down, lower right.
Oh, power.
Power, there you go. Upper left. And so Andrew Voris, the planning director, and others in the planning board, they're on it. And that's why part of this was on the special town meeting, because knowing that a lot of this is happening much sooner than anybody anticipated. Now there was some changes to Old South Road that's in the capital plan for the town, but nothing that will play catch up to what's going to be happening there. Okay. So we discussed that in depth, which was great. And again, there's 25 articles altogether on the warrant. The warrant will be notarized today. Erica Mooney in the town administration office is working furiously to get it done right now and corrected and certified. So that means it'll be sent out to all registered voters via mail, but also will be posted on the town website probably today, but no later than tomorrow. So we encourage you all to go look at that. And this year we're going to translate it into Spanish, so we can start serving the non-English speaking community better. What are the things that we talk about? We talked about the confusion and constant ongoing struggle with restaurant occupancy. And as many know, there's been a lot of discussion and confusion over seating versus occupancy and what's written on entertainment licenses and special permits and so forth. So there's been a work group convened since last stroll to try to fix this. And a lot of this is legacy. A lot of these occupancy numbers and everything have been in existence for years because of the age of the restaurants and the buildings. And so the planning office, in conjunction with the business licensing agent and public health, have been working to clarify and correct. And it's not done yet, and there's still some confusion. So we're stressing that there's no September 5th deadline to get these things straightened away. That was originally thrown out by the Board of Health at one of their meetings, and then the very next meeting they corrected that. There's no deadline. Somebody just threw it out there saying, let's get through summer, and the day after Labor Day, let's get it all corrected. So we have time, and there's nothing. Restaurants not being closed. There's no stormtroopers going in. We're just trying to work. And our number one issue with all this is just public safety. You know, we're working. We're going to clarify the numbers. We're going to work with restaurants, but in the meantime, we also want to prevent overcrowding or any dangerous situation. And it's a delicate balance, but that's our goal. But in the meantime, they've been working really well. Public health has all of theirs sorted out. The business licensing agent has all of her numbers and stuff sorted out. Now we're just waiting for the actual application and correction process through the building commissioner. So we had a good discussion on that. And I guess the other exciting news, which not exciting for anybody else, but the town finally took ownership of some Coast Guard property out in Sconset. We call it the Loran station. Loran was the name of the long-range radio network.
That no longer exists.
No, the Loran doesn't exist. It's outdated technology, and matter of fact, that tower's gone.
Okay.
That was blown up and knocked over.
You just got used to seeing it.
Yeah, you don't see it anymore.
Right.
So the Coast Guard has been getting rid of that property, but we also use some of their old barracks out there to house our seasonal police officers, as well as store a lot of goods out there, because the town is very scrapped for space, just like everybody else. But we didn't own it. And so with really the dedication and help of Senator Ed Markey and Congressman Bill Keating, they finally were able to work with the Coast Guard to get the deeds all sorted out, and we signed it, and we actually own the property as of yesterday. So it still has to go through land.
Do we have more plans for that? Or do you know what?
Well, we don't have plans for it. We're still going to use it because
Yeah.
we need the space to put our seasonal employees. It's not the best space, but we need it. But we do have some plans. Now that we can own it, we're looking at maybe perhaps we'll knock down the storage facility and build a storage facility elsewhere. Because it's just those old white concrete structures that are not really pretty, but they're functional.
Yeah.
So that was exciting.
Yes.
It's been a long run. That's been in the works since before I got here, and I got here in 2009. So there's a lot, and then there's still other property out there that the Coast Guard's owns that they want to give to the town. They're just trying to go through all the title and deed clearing, and we're very grateful that it happened. And aside from that, that was pretty much the meeting.
It was a good meeting.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Yeah, we got through it.
When's our next meeting, Greg?
The next meeting, I'm glad you bring that up. So we have, next week there is no meeting. It's the end of the summer schedule. And then we have Labor Day. So we're not having a meeting that week. So the next Board of Selectmen meeting is Wednesday, September 13th.
Okay.
I know, I got a little bit of break, a little bit of reprieve.
Time for you to maybe take a vacation.
I'm going to take a couple days off to go see our New England Patriots play. And
Oh, boy.
I don't know, it's starting.
You can't wait, can
Can't
you?
wait, I cannot wait. So yeah,
Are you a Celtics fan too?
I'm a Celtics fan. I must admit, I'm not rabid like everybody else, but I mean, I love the Celtics.
Some big news coming.
I heard some
What's that?
trades. I saw
Yeah.
that. I know it's big. No, I'm all Boston sports, but
Good.
definitely football and baseball. But definitely love the Bruins and love the South. Love the Revolution too.
You
So
got it.
I got it there, you know.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting in for.
Well, you're going to Maine.
Yeah, I'm off to Maine.
You're abandoning us.
You got it.
What's up in Maine? Why would you leave Nantucket in
Oh.
August? Oh,
I got a house up there that was like Nantucket was in the 80s.
yeah.
I mean, this town is just like Nantucket was in the 80s.
Nice, frozen in
So
time.
it's really like going back in time.
That's
It's really
nice.
nice.
Sometimes we need that. We hear that a lot here.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I guess we need October.
We do.
That's our time.
You
where
got it.
we can see. I can see locals again.
You got it. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you very much, Gino. Be safe in Maine.